heavyweight bout. That's coming up later today at 5 Eastern Time, right here on CBS Sports. His 21 career wins, ending in knockout. So spend Father's Day with us as two heavyweights clash on the Sports Show. Live from the Grand Casino in beautiful Biloxi, our Budweiser Boxing Series salutes Father's Day right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Plenty of fathers and sons here at the Grand to witness a heavyweight battle as Joe the Boss Hipp faces Ross the Boss Puritty. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson. Welcome to the Grand Casino here in Biloxi, where Ross Puritty and Joe Hipp are all set for their 10-round heavyweight bout. Ross Puritty, he's a former football player for the University of Texas, El Paso, but he wants to make his mark in the boxing ring.
I've heard so much about football players trying to do the boxing deal and not really making the transition. And I want to be, hopefully, if nothing else, someone that people can say, you know, became a good boxer and was someone that had respect when the person across the ring looked and saw me, you know. That's I mean, if nothing else, that I was a boxer.
Joining me now, my partner, Gil Clancy. And Gil, Ross Puritty has a football player's mentality in the ring. No finesse. He goes right after you.
But Ross Puritty has made remarkable progress for the limited experience that he has had. And I look for a lot more of improvement because he hasn't been around that long. He can improve a great deal.
His opponent, Joe Hipp, who, after losing the WBA title to Bruce Seldon in 1995, has been on a roll. He's won his last 8 fights, 6 by way of first-round knockouts. He's a southpaw, and he will really get in there and rumble with you.
Well, you know, Joe Hipp's mentality, he's a blue-collar worker. He's going to go in there from the opening bell, put pressure on Puritty, make him fight all the way. Should be a great fight.
Joe Hipp has aspirations of one day being the first Native American to win a heavyweight championship at 34. He knows this is a must-win.
I think all the pressure is on me, but you know, I'm used to that. I enjoy, I look really forward to this fight. It's been a while since I've been on TV, so I've been working very hard, and you know, I want to go out there, look good, and show everyone that I'm back here and ready to fight.
So, Gil, is the pressure on Joe Hipp?
Joe Hipp doesn't have that kind of a mentality. He's going to go in there, Gus, from the opening bell. Nothing can change Joe Hipp. There's one Joe Hipp. He's a southpaw that puts pressure on you, and that's what he's going to do.
So both Joe Hipp and Ross Puritty want to win today to become even a bigger part of the heavyweight puzzle. When you start to assemble this jigsaw, the two major pieces, Tyson Holyfield, will be placed June 28th in Las Vegas. Iron Mike Tyson coming in as the favorite, even though he is the challenger after losing the first fight to Holyfield. Tyson says he's in great shape and is only looking forward and not dwelling on last year's terrible performance.
My confidence never shaken by anything. I'm really going in and fight him like I knocked him out the first time.
Evander, the real deal Holyfield, always comes ready to fight. But many people question whether the world champion can stomp Tyson for a second time. If anyone can repeat a performance, it's the man with the biggest heart in all of boxing. After those two pieces fit, the next level gets a bit crowded. Lennox Lewis is the WBC heavyweight champion. He's got the knockout power, but a suspect chin. With 30 wins and only 1 loss, this champion hopes to one day unify the heavyweight belts. The puzzle starts to come together when you add IBF champion Michael Moorer. He has yet to capture the heart of the public because he is constantly trying to redefine himself both inside and outside the ring. The oddest piece in this puzzle is Terrible Tim Witherspoon, a former 2-time world heavyweight champion in '84 and '86. He's resurrected his career, and now 11 years after he lost his title, Witherspoon finds himself on the verge of another shot. The most controversial piece is Andrew Golota. With his last 2 fights against Riddick Bowe ending in his disqualification, Golota must keep his punches above the belt or risk falling out of the equation entirely. And no heavyweight puzzle would be complete without Big George Foreman. If Witherspoon is the oddest and Golota the most controversial, the 48-year-old Foreman is the fan favorite. The king of the geriatric set, George proved that you can knock down a few cheeseburgers and still knock out your opponents. His win against Lou Savarese once again shows that Big George has what it takes. To complete this puzzle, there are the lesser knowns, fighters who hope to stake their claim to boxing's marquee title. Joe Hipp hopes that with the convincing win over Ross Puritty, he can once again fight for a heavyweight championship.
And I've always dreamed about fighting for a heavyweight title. I've done that. I want to go out there and be the first Native American to win the heavyweight title.
Over the next few months, hopefully the heavyweight puzzle will all fall into place. All right, Gil, today's winner, will they have a chance at fighting for a heavyweight title?
Well, today's winner, that would be a first step. Then they would have to beat one of the leading contenders. If they did that, then they would be a serious contender for a heavyweight championship of the world.
Well, coming up next, Joe the Boss Hipp against Ross the Boss Puritty. Joe Hipp, 38-4 with 27 KOs, and we will have it for you when we return to the Grand Casino here in Biloxi, Mississippi on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody, as our Budweiser boxing series continues. Joe Hipp and Ross Puritty scheduled for 10 rounds, and the Mississippi rules governing this fight: standing 8 count, saved by the bell in the last round only. Only the referee can stop the fight. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and in case of an accidental headbutt before 5 rounds, it's considered a technical draw. After 5 rounds, we go to the scorecards and the tail of the tape. Joe Hipp on the left, Ross Puritty on the right. Hipp, 34 years old, 6'1", 256. And Ross Puritty, 30 years old, 6'3", 248. He has the reach advantage. Now let's go inside the ring where Mark Bureau is standing by for the pre-fight introductions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and to your dad and mine, happy Father's Day. Welcome to the Budweiser Boxing Series. Today, from the Grand Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, Top Rank Incorporated and Gale Promotions presents the main event of the afternoon, 10 rounds, heavyweights. Ring officials assigned by the Mississippi State Athletic Commission, your chairman, the Honorable Billy Lyons, and Chief Deputy Assistant Sal Taranto. Judges at ringside are from Biloxi, Mississippi, C.D. Jenkins, and the charming Chester Como. From Destrehan, Louisiana, Elmo Adolph. Your referee for this event from Biloxi, Mississippi, Fred Steinwinder III. Introducing the principals first. In the red corner to my right, wearing the green trunks, black trim, he weighs in at 248 pounds. His professional record stands at 21 victories, 10 defeats, 1 draw. He has 19 wins by way of knockout. He hails from Noble, Oklahoma. Here is Ross the Boss Puritty. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing 256 pounds. His professional record, 38 victories, 4 defeats. He has 27 victories by way of knockout. He hails from Yakima, Washington. Here is Joe the Boss Hipp. 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Both receive the instructions in the dressing room. Listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, come out fight.
So a new look for Joe Hipp, fighting in the black trunks, Puritty in the green. Hipp has worked with a new conditioning trainer the last 6 weeks, who's made him concentrate on wind sprints, stairs, and jumping to increase his mobility, and you can tell that he has reproportioned his body. A lot leaner now than we have seen him in the past.
Very interesting to find out right away if Ross Puritty is puzzled by Joe Hipp's southpaw style. He shouldn't be, because Joe, despite the fact that he's a southpaw, he walks right in, squares away. So it's not one of those things where Joe Hipp is going to out-cute him. He's not going to do that. He's going to try to out-fight him.
Puritty said that he has never fought a southpaw. He did not train against one in preparation for this fight. Matter of fact, he spent 2 weeks in England training with Herbie Hyde. Not worried whatsoever about fighting Joe Hipp coming from the other side.
He did say that Herbie Hyde occasionally would switch to southpaw. That was the only experience he's had against the southpaw. Again, he has had limited experience, and with that limited experience, he's made remarkable progress. He could be a significant factor in the heavyweight division if he can get by this fight.
His biggest win to date came when he knocked out Jorge Luis Gonzalez, the Cuban-born fighter, in the 7th round. Felt that that fight would be a stepping stone. Now people are saying that this fight is a stepping stone to get him in contention for a possible shot at a heavyweight title. As for Joe Hipp, his last loss was to Bruce Seldon on August 19th of 1995. The fight was stopped in the 10th round. Swelling near the eye of Joe Hipp. And he said he fought him the wrong way, Gil. He wanted to box Bruce Seldon, and he is not a boxer, he is a puncher.
Well, that was the wrong thing to do. They tried to change his style. You can never change a guy like Joe Hipp's style. He has one style, that's the Hipp style. And I'm surprised that Ross Puritty, knowing what Seldon did to Hipp with the jab, has not been using his jab a lot more with some snap on it in this round. There he snaps one in now.
Uppercut getting in for Joe Hipp.
Well, on the inside, that's usually Hipp's where Hipp wants to be.
Joe Hipp comes into this fight 38-4, 27 knockouts. Puritty 21-10, 19 KOs. 32 seconds to go, round number 1. Joe Hipp has been the aggressor to start this scheduled 10-round contest at the Grand Casino Hotel in Biloxi, Mississippi, here on Father's Day. Puritty doubling up the jab, got hit with a straight left hand by Hipp. Under 10 seconds to go. All set for round number 2. Round 1 dominated by Joe Hipp. He was the busier fighter, and between rounds, Gil, Jenks Morton did admit that to his fighter.
Well, Jenks Morton, who used to train Sugar Ray Leonard, he said you have to pick it up, but he also said that Joe Hipp has a big stomach, and that's where he should be working. But he has to realize that that is Joe Hipp, and that, despite the fact that you can't see any muscles there, there's got to be a layer of muscle under that roll that he has. It's fooled a lot of fighters. They tried to work down there and to their own detriment because it brought them right in front of Joe Hipp. That's what Ross Puritty should be doing, just snapping that jab, moving to his left as he's doing now. There's Hipp back with a right hook. And again, this is where he wants to be, Hipp. He likes to declare war.
When asked about the loss to Bruce Seldon for the WBA belt, in terms of how he fought Seldon, Joe Hipp said that there's not a day that goes by that he doesn't kick himself for fighting him the way he fought him, staying on the outside instead of getting in and banging with Seldon.
Ross Puritty is going to have to start getting busier because outside, if he doesn't, he's going to be out-hustled every single round, unless, of course, he can hurt Joe Hipp or bust him up.
Joe Hipp, the first ever Native American to be ranked in the top 10. Wants to become the first Native American to win a heavyweight title.
Gus Puritty has the perfect build for a heavyweight fighter. Put together with the wide shoulders. Waist just isn't too big. He looks like he's in great shape. He looks like an athlete.
Puritty taking this fight on 3 weeks' notice.
Well, 3 weeks is not too bad, Gus. Because Puritty himself said he stays in the gym all the time. If he's not training, he's teaching youngsters. So he really wasn't in bad shape, and 3 weeks is time enough.
Presently, he resides in Noble, Oklahoma, but he was born and raised in Phoenix. All-state 3 times in basketball, twice in football. And he went to the University of Texas, El Paso on a full-ride scholarship where he started 4 years at defensive tackle.
Good right hook by Puritty in that exchange. Again, what Puritty should be doing is trying to bust Joe Hipp, keep using that left jab, trying to close those eyes to Joe Hipp. But up to now, he just hasn't been busy enough.
Closing moments of the second round. Joe Hipp remaining busy in the first 2. Round number 3.
In the corner between rounds, Joe Hipp looked like his right eye was starting to swell, but the trainer, much to his credit, used that end swell for the entire 50 seconds that he had to work and did a pretty good job. But that's one of the detriments of Joe Hipp. He does have a tendency to swell around the eyes. But again, that's the reason that Ross Puritty should be snapping that left jab out a lot more than he's doing.
Trained by Peter Roybal. He also handles the cut work. There's a big left hook by Hipp.
Partially blocked. Now you can see Hipp trying to make Puritty move the way he wants him to move. Doesn't look like he moves much, Joe, but you don't have to move much. Just a few inches here, a few inches there to get the angle.
Puritty, right hand landed.
Another right hand by Puritty.
Did not move Hipp, and he follows it up with an uppercut of his own. And there he is, banging the body with the right hand.
Again, he's so much busier than Joe Hipp, than Ross Puritty right now. Unless Puritty starts to really nail him or bust him up, he's not going to win a decision.
Pete Roybal, between rounds, telling Hipp that those body shots will start taking their toll on Ross Puritty.
Now you see Hipp maneuvering on the inside there. It looks like they're just standing flat-footed, but they're not. It's a few inches moved one way or the other to give you the angle. See Hipp steering him around right now?
These 2 men have one common opponent.
Hands up, Joe.
Of note, Tommy Morrison, who was dropped twice by Puritty and ended up fighting him to a draw. Joe Hipp knocked out by Tommy Morrison in the 9th round.
And that was a fight that Joe Hipp was way ahead in the fight. But you know, Morrison can punch, and he nailed Hipp, and then the fight was over.
Right back. Bring those hands right back.
For that fight, Puritty only had 10 days' notice.
Good right hand counter by Puritty.
Here's a jab again, popping it. Continuing to pop the jab. Ross Puritty. 32 seconds to go, round number 3.
Take that right to the body, Joe. Shoot it. Shoot it. Hands up, Joe.
Little slower pace here in the 3rd round. And the swelling starting to occur under both of the eyes now of Joe Hipp. Right hand good by Puritty. Big right hand by Ross Puritty.
And that was his natural athletic ability. Look how off-balance Puritty was with that punch. Threw the right hand forward, but he still managed to nail Joe Hipp with that punch. Puritty is a natural athlete. There's no question about that. And he's got Jenks Morton and Jesse Reed in the corner. 2 of the best cornermen trainers in the business.
Puritty starting to load up on hooks right now. Getting more aggressive as the fight goes on.
There's that jab of Puritty. Again, I'd be having him double that jab, triple that jab, moving around to his left constantly. That's the way you have to fight a Joe Hipp. He's doing it now, and there now Hipp is coming over. Again, when you fight a southpaw, so much of that mind over matter. Good body punches by Joe Hipp.
Step jab, baby, step jab. Come on. That's it, step jab.
Here's a left jab by Puritty. Looping right hand connects Joe Hipp.
That disturbed Ross Puritty, to say the least.
Hipp missing, got caught by Puritty with the right hand.
Again, Joe Hipp said he's going to try to stay on the inside, but he's staying right in the range of Ross Puritty now, and Puritty is scoring a lot of points with that left jab. Hipp has to put his head right on Purity's chest and keep it there. See that jab scoring points for Puritty?
A minute to go here in the fourth round. First two rounds won by Joe Hipp. Ross Puritty a lot more aggressive in round number 3.
Nice right hand counter by Puritty then. Then right hand counter by Puritty. It's easy for the judges to see those jabs when they land. And that's why it's so significant to use it to score points.
Right now, he is really nailing Hipp with the jab. His right eye is almost swollen shut. And there's also blood in the corner of that right eye. 15 seconds to go, round number 4. Scheduled for 10. And we'll be back to the Grand Casino in Biloxi right after this. Welcome back to the Grand Casino. Joe Hipp in black, Ross Puritty in green, scheduled for 10 rounds, heavyweights, and the last 2 rounds, Puritty really has established himself, Bill.
Sure has, but now Joe Hipp is right where he wants to be on the inside. As long as he stays outside, he's subject to that left jab of Purity's, but he's got to get inside, and he has to stay there. And they told him in between rounds, stop, don't admire your work. When you land a couple of punches, just don't stop and take a bow. Throw more punches behind it.
But you see Puritty continuing to back up for distance so he can continue to flick the left jab.
Well, that's up to Joe Hipp to get underneath as he just did then. Get underneath and then stay there.
And Gil, how do you have this one scored?
I have this fight dead even right now after 4 rounds. Joe Hipp won the first 2 rounds, and then Ross Puritty came back, in my opinion, and won the next 2.
There's a right hook by Hipp. Uppercut followed by a left hook, and Puritty.
Well, again, Puritty threw a combination, but in the meanwhile, Hipp must have thrown 10 punches without a return from Puritty. Now you can just see Joe Hipp run to get on the inside, and he got there.
Right-left combination in close by Puritty.
And, you know, Puritty has pretty good defense on the inside. See those big arms? He keeps them up there to not only protect his head, but his body. And now Joe Hipp is moving the way he wants to move. So they're telling him from the corner, move to your right. And a good right hand, 2 right hand uppercuts.
And he follows it up by doubling up on the left hand. Ross Puritty really doing a nice job here. The last 3 rounds. 54 seconds to go, round number 5.
And Purity's right counter has been very, very effective against Joe Hipp. And both Joe's eyes are starting to swell and getting close to closing. They're going to have to do a good job between rounds with that end swell.
Under 30 seconds to go. Scheduled for 10, Joe Hipp. In black, Ross Puritty in green.
Watch your head, watch your head.
Both these men trying to get into the heavyweight picture. 5 rounds to go after this.
Right hand, left hook. Right hand, left hook. Get up.
You're looking at Ross Puritty, who between rounds was told by Jake Morton to start this round off quickly.
And Jesse Reed sounded like Newt Rockney giving a pep talk to the Notre Dame football team. Something you've been waiting for all your life. It's right out there for you. Go out and get it.
Right hand landing by Puritty. And Joe Hipp's right eye, really a lot of swelling. Another right hand by Puritty.
You know, Puritty is not setting down on that right hand, though. But they're almost like slaps. There's a nice right uppercut by Puritty.
Hipp continues to move forward. Puritty steps to the side, triples up the right hand, and Hipp finally backs up.
And Puritty is overworking that right hand, and it is effective. What a war. There's that right uppercut again by Puritty. He uses an uppercut, then he throws it around like a right hook.
A lot of the punches by Joe Hipp, as you mentioned, Gil, hitting the arms of Ross Puritty.
Well, he doesn't give you much of a target, that's for sure. But again, if you like a work ethic, though, Hipp is certainly throwing more punches.
Stay close, Joey.
There's the right hand to the body.
Stay on. Push him back, Joe. Push him back. Knock him out.
Stinging right hand on Hipp by Hipp to Puritty. That backs him up deep in the corner.
Throw that up to the body. Step to your right, Joe. Stay there, Joey. Stay there. Step to your right, Joe.
Again, you'd think that Puritty would try to get on the outside and use that left jab again. Right now, he's fighting Joe Hipp's fight.
Step to your right, Joe.
Good uppercut by Puritty, but it's one punch against 4 or 5. There's that left jab of Purity's now, but this is where he wants to be. But it looks to me as if Purity's starting to run out of gas a little bit now. Good straight left by Joe Hipp.
51 seconds to go, round number 6. Joe Hipp, as we mentioned at the top of the telecast, has trained differently for this fight. Usually, he concentrated on endurance, running 6 or 7 miles. Now, however,
good right hand by Puritty again. But again, you know, with the judges, it's tough because Puritty will land 5 or 6 punches, and, Hipp will, and then Puritty will go back with one big one. So what do you like? Do you like the guy that's busy or the guy that's more effective with the one punch?
Hipp now concentrating on sprint work to increase his mobility and build a different kind of endurance.
And Puritty really is starting to show signs of being tired at the moment.
Go to work, Joe. Go to work.
6th round coming to an end. Approaching the 7th round, and it looks as if Joe Hipp still has a good tank of gas left. Gil, a different story, at least in the last round, for Ross Puritty.
Well, you know, now you'll see about the conditioning of Ross Puritty, because you get a point in a fight when you really feel like you're real tired, then all of a sudden you get a second win. If he gets that second win, things are going to be very interesting. But at the end of the last round, he looked very tired.
And he begins the 7th round by keeping Hipp on the end of the jab. There have not been any knockdowns in this fight thus far. Joe Hipp in black, Puritty in the green. Puritty comes in at 21-10, 19 KO.
And again, you see the difference in the work ethic. Joe Hipp just keeps pounding him with punches, and every once in a while, Puritty will land an effective punch. But it's 3-4 punches to 1.
Step to your right, Joe. Step right hook, go to the body. Stay there, Joey. Stay there.
Right now, they are fighting Hipp's fight.
Nice combination by Puritty, just as you said that, Gus. Right hand to the body, right uppercut on the chin.
Hipp now bleeding from the mouth, as well as his eyes starting to swell even more.
In close, Joey, in
2
close.
straight uppercuts by Puritty.
Don't lean, Joey. Step to your right, Joey, from the left. There you go. Let's step in front.
Again, that's what we were talking about, steering a guy on the inside. You think the footwork's only on the outside, but it's what you do on the inside, too. Now, Puritty should snap that jab right now. But he's not doing it. He's waiting for Joe Hipp.
Joe Hipp's face mangled in the 7th round. Straight left hand backs up Puritty, may have been partially blocked.
That hurt him a little bit, Gus. And again, Puritty now is like throwing punches in desperation. He really is tired.
A cut starting to develop now on the right eye of Joe Hipp. There's Hipp again, hooking to the body.
That was the good night punch. You can see Puritty with his hands down. He is tired. I mean, he's still trying. He's still dangerous, but he is tired. Now he's pushing that jab. He has to snap that left jab.
Has a straight left hand. That connected by Joe Hipp.
And then Puritty landed a couple of left jabs.
18 seconds to go, round number 7. Scheduled for 10 at the Grand Casino in Biloxi.
And Puritty is taking a breather now, thus trying to get a second win.
Right hand scoring, falling back by Puritty, and he gets active in the corner at the end of the round. And welcome back to the Grand Casino. Gus Johnson, Gil Clancy with you as our Budweiser boxing series continues. Round number 8, scheduled for 10. Joe Hipp in black, Ross Puritty in green, and Hipp in the last 3 rounds has been able to fight his fight, keeping close with Ross Puritty, not allowing the more athletic Puritty to use that left jab.
And you know, we mentioned how tired Puritty was at the end of the round, but Hipp's not as fresh as a daisy either, because he's showing signs of wear and tear. A very rough, grueling heavyweight fight.
Go get it, Joey. Go get it.
It's a tough job for Puritty to push this big guy away from him. They should tell him in the corner not to wrestle, try to use some leverage instead. Puritty right now is just not busy enough. He'll throw one showy punch, but there's 4 or 5 punches for Hipp. There's another one. When he throws them, he's got the snap on him. No question about that.
There's a left hand, followed by the uppercut.
That's been his most effective punches. Left hand, Puritty's left hand, except for that jab, has been just about useless, but the right hand he's been very effective with.
Work your hands. Get your hands off of it, Ross. Come on, work.
Chop him down, Ross. Chop him down.
Puritty trying to push off Joe Hipp.
Go to that body, Joe.
Good right hook by Hipp that time.
Turn your leg, Joe.
Nice combination.
Keep working it.
There's that right hand to the body that he has been using.
Yeah, 3 punches
entire
again by Hipp, no return by Puritty. And again, that's the way you score fights.
Come on. Lift your head up when you go to the body, Joe. Uppercut hooks for you, baby. In close, Joe.
Showing a little bounce now, Joe Hipp. Maybe he got his second win.
Little head movement now by Joe Hipp. Straight left hand,
by Joe Hipp.
solid.
And
by Hipp.
Puritty right now is very, very tired. Very tired.
Left hook again by Hipp. Backs up Puritty into the corner. 42 seconds ago, round number 8. No knockdowns thus far.
Puritty's legs are a little wobbly right now, Gus. A little wobbly. Showing all the courage in the world, but he's a tired man.
Don't let him rest. He's resting, Joe. Don't let him rest.
Joe Hipp's corner calling for their fighter to be more active.
And Joe is saying, then what about me? I need a rest too. There's that, again, with that one hand with Puritty. He's got to put those punches together, throw combinations. That's also a lack of experience.
The end of round number 8. It's the battle for who is the boss. Joe Hipp, Joe the Boss Hipp, and Ross the Boss Puritty here at the Grand Casino in Biloxi, scheduled for 10 rounds.
And the winner will be the boss of bosses.
Exactly. You're always my boss. I have no problem.
I've also heard that youth shall be served.
Round number 9.
Now Joe Hipp is taking pot shots. Up.
Keep him right there, Joe. To the side, Joe.
Puritty is effective with that right hand, but he just does not put punches together. It's not left, right, left. It's either right, 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 or left, jab.
Joey, stay on him.
Joe Hipp came out in the very beginning of this fight being aggressive, throwing a lot of punches. Ross Puritty, at the same time, has taken his time. Third and fourth round really established his jab, but since then, Joe Hipp has been able to get close and take it away from him.
Don't let him run. Get your legs away.
And fatigue also a big factor on the part of Ross Puritty, as Joe Hipp continues to move forward and stay busy.
Stay busy, Joe.
Don't push,
Get in
don't
position,
push.
Joe.
Come on, don't push. Work inside.
Get in position, Joe. Get in position.
Right hand grazing the side of Hipp's head.
What? Not much on the punches, though, Gus.
Go to work, Joe.
Left hand lead connecting for Joe Hipp. And you see that bounce in his step.
Got a little bounce, yes. And Ross is just really gasping for breath now. Trying. You can just see. And for the guy with limited experience, it's tough to stall yourself through these rounds. You have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to walk a guy around, kill the clock. And Ross does not have that kind of experience. Good left jab by Puritty.
Get close, Joe. Get close.
You know, they're thinking about Puritty being so tired. Again, Hipp is not fresh as the daisy either. It's been a very grueling fight.
Talking about Ross Purity's experience, 31 professional fights. He did not fight as an amateur because of his college football experience at UTEP. So he still is a work in progress. 29 seconds to go in the 9th round, scheduled for 10.
And Hipp again is trying to feel his legs. He's a little shot right now, too.
And blood now right on the top of the right eye of Joe Hipp. Final seconds, round number 9. Puritty, right combination.
Got him hurt badly. Hipp is hurt.
And Joe Hipp saved by the bell as he gets back to the corner at the end of round number 9.
This is going to be some interesting 10th round. Puritty, if he comes out early in the round, tries to get Hipp out of there and doesn't do it, I doubt if he has the energy to finish the round.
You have 3 minutes to be a man. Let's go.
Joe Hipp, exhausted in the corner. Take another look at the end of the round.
2 solid punches, three solid punches by Ross Puritty, all right on a button. And we had mentioned just prior to those punches landing that Joe Hipp's legs looked a little shaky. Boy, if that didn't knock him down, I don't know what will. But he's not in the best of shape right now. It depends on how they have Puritty come out. Do you have him come out and let it all hang out, or do you let him try to get through the round?
Now, after the show, jump on to the CBS Sports Line for extended coverage. There'll be exclusive video clips and bios. The Sportsline newsroom will have a comprehensive wrap-up. Get it all at cbs.sportsline.com. 10th and final round from the Grand Casino here in Biloxi. Ross Puritty and Joe Hipp. And this has been a war, Gil, as you mentioned before the fight.
Well, these are 2 fighters, in my opinion, have a lot of character, and that usually comes out in the ring.
Who's winning this fight right now?
I have Hipp ahead by 1 round. But again, Puritty could possibly stop him in this round. And that was a big round for Puritty last round. They may have given him two points, and Hipp is just fighting on instinct now. He doesn't have a leg under him. If he gets nailed, he's going.
Puritty has to get busier here in the 10th round.
Oh, what a break that is. That's a break for both fighters.
Tape coming off of the gloves of Joe Hipp.
First time it ever come off on me, honest.
But they expect a lot out of Joe Hipp in this last round. I mean, it's...
Here, you got some scissors, just cut it.
As Ross Puritty also gets a breather in the corner. Joe Hipp retaped.
Again, it's they were both in bad condition, so who it's going to benefit more this delay is I don't know. Here we go again with the busier of the 2, Joe Hipp, and Puritty will be looking for that one big shot again. That's 12 punches without Puritty throwing a return. 14 now, 15.
Right hand by
Finally. Here we go.
Nation, Hipp's in trouble. Joe Hipp trying to get out of the way. Puritty feels it. A big right hand. Puritty backs up.
That's it.
And Hipp goes down. Ross Puritty, a dramatic 10th-round knockdown of Joe Hipp. Hipp struggling to get up. And it's over. Ross Puritty, a 10th-round knockout. Ross Puritty improves to 22-10. He picks up his 20th KO in dramatic fashion here in the 10th round. And take another look at the 10th and final round.
And here's where Ross Puritty all of a sudden let it all hang out, took his shots. Again, the round started with Joe Hipp throwing all the punches, and here came Puritty.
So Joe Hipp loses for the 5th time in his career as Ross Puritty finishes him in the final round. And some really heavy shots delivered by Puritty.
Oh, they were murderous punches. Not too many people could take those punches as often as Joe Hipp did before he finally went. Look at that left hook.
And finally, the big right hand
Followed by a
finished
left
him
hook.
off. Ross Puritty, a 10th round knockout of Joe Hipp. We'll talk to him right after this.
Frankie DeMarco, Alex Guerrero.
There will never be another like him. He moved faster. He hit harder, and he spoke louder.
I'm the king of the world.
More than a champion, he is forever the greatest.
I must be the greatest.
Feel the power of this legendary man in an exclusive offer from Sports Illustrated. You'll get Muhammad Ali, the incredible video that captures this heroic warrior in championship style. And this authentic Everlast ringside sweatshirt, the choice of champions. Both
The CBS Sports Show presents the Budweiser Boxing Series, sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better.
And welcome back to the Grand Casino. Welcome back to the Grand Casino here in Biloxi. Let's go up into the ring. Mark Bureau with the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 43 seconds of the 10th round. The winner by knockout, Ross the Boss Puritty. Puritty.
All right, Ross, congratulations on your win. First of all, tell us how you knocked out Joe Hipp in the final round.
Well, I tell you, all I did was try to keep the pressure on, kept hitting him with shots. I knew sooner or later I'm strong, that one of the shots was going to get him either the uppercut or the cross, meaning the left hook or the right cross. But I knew he was open for the uppercuts, and the uppercuts opened him up for the crosses. I'll tell you one thing, a tough man, because I hit him with some shots everybody else dropped with. He's a tough man.
Let's take a look once again at the 10th round and tell us what you see here.
Yeah, uppercut right here coming up, then the cross comes. There's the uppercut, there's the cross, and the uppercut. Leverage. Oh, you okay? Leverage. So try and bend my legs, like my trainers tell me, Jenks and Jesse are telling me in the locker room and all during the fight. Bend your legs, keep the pressure on, don't let them move you back. And when I started doing that, it started to show. Fight got a lot easier, but don't get me wrong, the man's tough.
He tried to crowd you and take away your jab.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like fighting inside. It was my advantage, to be honest. But I got a good jab. Inside or out, it's up to him. But my shots come better from the inside.
Okay, what happens next for you? You beat Jorge Luis Gonzalez. Now you beat Joe Hipp, who's ranked nationally.
Right.
What goes on next?
Who's afraid of me? That's what I can say. Who's afraid of me? Anybody. From Tyson on down, anybody. And as you can see, I'm not afraid of anybody.
All right. Congratulations, Ross Puritty, 10th round knockout over Joe Hipp. And we will have more coming up from the Grand Casino right after this.
Well, not much of a crowd.
So for Gil Clancy, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from the Grand Casino here in Biloxi, Mississippi. Ross Puritty, a 10-round knockout over Joe Hipp.